Many pros are doubting that a fight between Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney will happen, and Gervonta has seemingly sent Frank Martin a fight offer. Akin Reis and Barack Best talked about whether or not Frank Martin was ready for a fighter like Gervonta after his win over Artin Haratunyan, and Akin stated, "He has a lot of attention as he trains in that Derek James stable, and he's calling out big names like Tank and Keshon Davis, so he ran into a guy who came to win, and he had a tough fight. He lost rounds in there, but I still think he was the more skilled fighter, the more dominant fighter overall." Punchstat said that. Ring generalship. He ran into trouble going into that fight late. It was a little questionable. People were talking about him with the big names. He wanted those fights. Is it safe to say that after that performance that we have to take a step back and say he needs a couple of big wins over B-class fighters before talking about Tank and those guys? In response to that, Barack stated, "There are two ways to look at that. We can say maybe he needs to step back, or the way that I think is right to look at this, Haratunyan has the name and has the skill set. He's an Olympic medalist. He can fight. It just sucks when you have an unknown fighter give a popular fighter a hard time and you shoot him down." Our team Haratunyan really wanted the opportunity to face Frank in a rematch though, and he stated, "I don't agree. If it's possible, I will fight him again, but if it's not a problem. He's just a fighter. He's not Errol Spence. I'm a big fan of Errol Spence. My plan is to become a world champion, or at least fight for the world title, maybe against Devin Haney or Gervonta Davis. I can go up one weight class. It's not a problem for me, but I'm so happy to be here and I want to come back." Frank Martin thinks that he's ready though, and he even threw out another name as a potential opponent. Frank stated, "I feel like I'm ready for Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson. I'm ready for them. I don't train and be in the gym day in and day out to not be ready for those guys." There were talks about Shakur Stevenson and Frank Martin fighting earlier in 2023, but according to Shakur, Frank's team dropped the ball in negotiations. According to Mike Coppinger, Mike stated, "The Shakur Stevenson-Frank Martin fight for the vacant WBC lightweight title planned for November 16th in Las Vegas is off," sources told ESPN. This comes days after the WBC purse bid was canceled after the organization was notified by both sides that a deal was reached. Top Rank sent the contract over to Martin's side, and the following day was told that he was no longer interested in the fight, sources said. Shakur wasn't too happy about this, as he posted a rather comical post. Chris Mannix was also disappointed about the fight not happening anymore, and he stated, "Disappointing. Frank Martin was set to make in excess of $1 million for the fight. Deal was done. TR was informed today that Martin no longer wanted it. A big 135-pound title fight off the table. Keshon Davis really wanted to face Frank Martin next."
Hey, for that other southpaw on the other side of the street, this is an example for you, but I probably can do you a little earlier than that. You and Earl keep saying this, that, and third. I want to fight, but y'all calling out other fighters. Why is that? I want to fight you. I want to fight you. You feel me? If you want to fight, let me know, because I want to fight.
Errol Spence really wanted Frank to fight someone like Gervonta or Shakur instead of someone like Keshon Davis.
I don't know why people keep saying Keshon Davis. I mean, he's a good fighter. I like him, but like he always talk about, oh, I'm only 5-0, I'm only 6-0, whatever he is, 7-0. He always say that. So if he fight Frank and Frank beat him, he gonna say, oh, I was only 7-0. It would definitely be a good fight. I feel like he ready, but Keshon gotta wait his time, man. I want to see Frank fight, maybe Shakur Stevenson. You got Tank. A lot of big fights. He ain't get paid nothing fighting Keshon Davis. At the end of the day, regardless of all these belts and things like that, it's about the money, man. Shakur's sharp as hell, but somebody gotta get in there and make him uncomfortable. Hey, Shakur like that. He like that for sure. But I feel like, nobody ever took Shakur out of his element either. There's been a lot of guys like that until they fight somebody really like that too, and they end up getting beat.
Frank Martin talked about the possibility of facing William Zepeda next, and he stated, "I really want William Zepeda. I'm gonna have a sit down with my team. I'm gonna see if they can push for that for me and I can get that WBA belt." Oscar De La Hoya mentioned a condition that had to be met for Frank Martin to face William Zepeda next, and Oscar stated, "Fight Stevenson and then I'll think about it." Frank Martin sent a nice message out to all of the fighters who are calling for a fight with him too.
So it's been a whole lot of talking, a whole lot of bullshit going on, but I'm in the lab, you know what I mean? I'm working consistently, you know, getting better, growing, all that. So all that shit Keshon talking about, you know, like, that's cool. Keep doing what you're supposed to do. Keep doing what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? You growing your fan base, you doing all that, you know what I mean? But ain't nobody stepping on shit over here. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You know what I mean? I ain't going for none of that. None. You hear me? So you can get that out your system, my boy. Keshon ain't talking about shit.
Meanwhile, Gervonta's record has come under fire from multiple fighters, and Shakur Stevenson was one of them. Shakur stated, "He fights pay-per-view knocking these dudes out. That doesn't take away the fact that I can beat this dude. That dude gets to feeling himself and feeling like he's something that he's not. To the world, he looks like a killer, but I can't wait. I'm gonna expose him. I promise you. Watch. I'm gonna be the person that will expose him. I'm gonna be the person he goes in there and he's not gonna knock out. He gotta go 12 rounds with somebody beating him. He ain't gonna like that shit. That gonna mess with his heart, with his head. Watch." Gervonta definitely isn't a fan of Shakur and his talking though.
Some of your 135 contemporaries have a lot to say these days. Shakur Stevenson, well, of course he's now 135 after all that stuff, and then Devin Haney.
Right, so why people even talk like he the best at, he didn't even fight at 135 yet.
Right.
He didn't even have power at 126, 30, or none of that.
He is good.
Okay. How can you, all that's just okay. How can you stop people that can actually hit? No matter all that boxing, you're going to get hit. What you gonna do when you get hit?
Leonard Ellerby has assured fans that they'll get to see Gervonta fight the big names that they've been dying to see in the ring with him. Leonard stated, "Tank will fight anybody he wants to fight because he's that big, and it doesn't have to be a belt. I can say that because he's that guy. I know firsthand, and this is from his mouth. He's going to get the guys that they say that they want. He's going to get those guys. It's just a matter of time because Tank Davis isn't going anywhere. He's looking to do what he got to do. Timeline-wise, everything isn't going to happen according to everyone else's plan because that's how the business goes. I know firsthand that if the fans say that they want that guy, he's going to get that guy. He's going to dictate the terms of how that goes along. Some of those fights aren't ready at the moment, and I think you can guess why." Gervonta Davis has been seen back in the gym showing off tremendous speed for his next fight though. Gareth A. Davies thinks that fans should expect to see Gervonta fight one of the bigger names in his next fight, and he stated, "The two Ferraris is a throwaway line about, if I come here, do I get a big payday? Of course you'd get a big payday. He's one of the young stars in America. At the moment, Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia slightly less so. Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, they're all claiming to be the face of boxing in America, aren't they? You can put them in with Terrence Crawford as well. Those guys are probably probably the face of boxing in America, and Shakur Stevenson. Those 4 or 5 guys in America, they're all claiming to be. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see those big fights. Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis, and Shakur Stevenson. Sean Porter really doesn't think that Gervonta will be facing Devin Haney next though, and he stated, "We saw Devin Haney against Regis Prograis, and we saw this kid as a different beast at 140. I don't think either one of them wants the fight right now. Tank doesn't want the fight at 140, and I don't think Devin wants the fight right now, especially Bill. I think Bill has other plans, and he knows what he wants to do. And at this point in time, it's not Tank Davis. It's not Teofimo Lopez. It could be Ryan Garcia. He's the weakest of those guys. Frank Martin seems to be hinting that his next opponent will be a big fight, and many fans believe that this means a fight with Gervonta Davis. Frank posted, "I'm taking it to the ceiling on the next one." If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.